cafes to the bustling street. Lathrop's got the soul, feel the heartbeat. Every word we share makes the moment complete. Yeah. Living Lathrop, oh, we're live on stage. Voices in motion, turning every page.
Welcome back. We're here at Live in Lathrup Village podcast, and I'm Lauren Barris, and I'm here today with Bruce Kantor, Mayor of Lathrup Village. Hi, Bruce.
Hello.
So you've been on City Council for a long time, like almost 9 years.
Going on 9 years.
But how long have you been mayor now?
2 months.
2 months. How's it going?
It's going. It's definitely a different feel.
Is it?
Yeah. It's the not only do you have to concentrate on the issues that you're discussing, but you also have to be thinking about controlling the meeting and making sure that things go on schedule. So you're almost distracted a little bit, tiny bit. So it's going to take a little getting used to, but it's going well.
So you were Mayor Pro Tem. What does Mayor Pro Tem mean?
Vice Mayor.
Okay, so it's more like the second chair, more or less. And you were Mayor Pro Tem for a while. So you had 8 years. You've been Mayor Pro Tem that whole time.
Yep, the whole time.
So that's amazing. So you had some practice in that, in getting ready for the position that you're in now. So it just feels kind of like a move over with a little more responsibility.
Yep, and you get a good leader in terms of Kelly to follow and learn from. And there were times when I had to run the meetings when she wasn't able to make it. So it was an easy transition.
And now Kelly Garrett is the Mayor Pro Tem. So she'll do the same thing for you.
Right.
Should you not be.
Right.
So
I say it's the same management team, right?
Yeah.
So it's Kelly, me, and Mike, and it's the same group.
Yes.
Just different roles, shuffled it up a little bit. So
that's great. Why City Council, Bruce Kantor? Tell us why you even want to be involved with the City Council.
Just a civic responsibility. I lived here my whole life, and and just across the border in Southfield, grew up like not even a quarter mile from Lathrop. All my friends were in Lathrop, and then I've been in my house here for 36 years now. So don't plan on going anywhere. So just want to be a part of the solution to any issues that the city has, and help move the city forward. Always wanted to be on council, but with my career and my job, I was traveling. I was averaging 1.5 to 2 days a week on the road, so I couldn't make any type of commitment. But when I retired, then the opportunity was there, so I ran, and the rest is history.
So let me just tap into that for a second. What did you do before you retired?
So I had a pretty varied career. My first 5 years were with Anderson Consulting, doing technical systems work. So developing large computer systems, doing the design for systems like that. And then I moved to at least when I started out, it was a small company. There were less than 100 people. It was called the MedStat Group. It was bought out many, many times, but it was a healthcare consulting company. By the time I left, there were almost, I think, 1,300 people.
Oh, wow.
So it grew tremendously. And then within that company for 25 years, I had a really varied career. I started out for 2 years building databases, healthcare databases, and then started our professional development and education department. Started out with just me, basically training our staff and our clients. And within about 10 years, it was almost a 20-person department.
Oh, wow.
Revenue generating department. I think we generated about $1 million a year in revenue, maybe a little bit less than that. But and then from there, it was kind of a natural leap into sales. Okay. So I spent my last 15 years or so with the company selling large healthcare computer systems to employers who provide healthcare to their employees, to Medicaid programs, the federal government. So those sales could range from anywhere from a couple $100,000. I think the last sale that I worked on was 110 million.
Oh,
and
wow.
that was 12 years ago. So probably 150 million in today's
dollars. So much more. Yeah. Wow. I had no idea. And you retired young.
At 50.
Yeah, that's really terrific.
Yeah.
And so I know that you're also an avid photographer, and I've seen your wildlife shots and your architectural shots, and they're just beautiful. Have you always been a photographer?
Yeah, since probably about, I don't know, 9th grade, 8th grade, something like that, when I got my first camera. love to go out shooting. I kind of put it aside during my career, would pull it out for family events and things like that, vacations. But then once I retired, I had a lot more time, and so I got more heavily vested into it. I travel around the world, for that matter,
Yes.
to take pictures, and the photography takes me to all these great places. Just got back from Morocco and Portugal. I'm leaving on Monday for a wildlife shoot in the mountains in Montana, and then in April I'm going to Namibia and South Africa for some photo
That's
shoots.
amazing. So. And the photo and the shots that I've seen are just stellar. They're incredible. You're really a great artist, and you have some things hanging up in the Big B right now.
Yeah. Big
so
B
people can go see that if they want to. Are they for sale there, or are they just?
I don't really it's. When people ask me, I refer to myself as a semi-professional because the next step is to actively sell my work,
market yourself,
and that becomes a job.
Yeah.
And I do this out of a passion. I'm not doing it to make money. I get people out all the time who ask me, friends on Facebook, right? You get one on your wall. They'll say, "Oh, I saw that picture on Facebook. I really like it. Can I buy it from you?" And what I do almost always is just whatever my cost is, let my friends have it. I love when I go to their house and I see it on the wall, or like when I go into Big B, which I have a lot of my city meetings in Big B when I'm meeting with people one-on-one or 1-on-2 or whatever. And Big B had 6 pieces up for about 3 or 4 months. Then there was another local photographer, and then they asked me for more pieces. And so there's 6 new pieces that are up there now.
Yeah, I can't wait to go see them. Yeah. I want to swing back to the city work because there's a lot going on in the city. And if you're willing to talk about it a little bit, I'd like to know from you, like, what do you think are the biggest issues that the city faces right now? I mean, I know I had a town hall in my home for you, and just to get the information out before we voted last year about ballot issues. But I'd like to know what you think are the biggest issues for the city.
Well, that is what you're referring to is definitely our biggest issue, just city finance. So, we had, as you know, the Headley override that was on the ballot. We basically went to the residents and said, look, we have been really struggling to provide you with the same level of services with the revenue that we have. And we're getting to the point where the revenue just isn't covering the cost of the services, and we need more money to maintain the services. Unfortunately, the residents voted against the Headley override, which is that the residents telling us, we need to live within the revenue that we have.
Okay.
And what that means is cuts to services. So we have been struggling in our meetings to figure out ways to cut. It looks like roughly around $300,000, and that's not including, any capital needs that we have, things that are broken or need to be replaced, critical pieces, things like that.
Is that largely due to Prop A and Headley?
Prop A, Headley, reductions in state shared revenue,
which was a big one. That reductions in state.
Well, that wasn't near as big as the others. That was, it's been $2 million over the last 20 years. They just cut us another $25,000 a state to balance their budget. But all of that together, basically what it means is we've got to cut services, and everything we talk about, of course, nobody wants us to cut.
Right.
So, we have to make decisions by January. We're starting the budget process to figure out what we have to cut. If I had to guess, I would say that 2 of the things that seem, at least from our initial discussions, that are on the chopping block. One would be the chipping services. So if your big branch on your tree falls over, we've always had the luxury of being able to cart that branch out to the street, and then the chipping company would come and chip it away. So now what's going to happen if we end up cutting the chipping services is residents will have to find a way to discard that debris on their own.
Would we be able to chop it up smaller and put it in a yard bag and put it out for waste?
Depends. Probably depends on how easily you can chop it. Right.
We might have to hire somebody to come in and get it.
Right.
Yeah. Like a large haul or something.
Yeah. So that's one area. Another thing that we've talked about that I think is going to happen is that we are not going to fill the open position that we currently have for a police officer.
Oh.
So that means that we'll have a little bit less policing. So some of those, normally we have 2 officers on every shift. So probably what's going to happen, because we'll have 1 less FTE full-time equivalent, we'll have some of the less active shifts might only have one officer.
Mhm.
The other thing that we've been talking about and we've been getting a lot of pushback on is the library.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So, what we decided to do, and in fact, on Monday's council meeting, the language for this will be will be an action item on the council meeting, is to determine whether or not we put a millage next November for the library.
That's what I was wondering about, if there would be a millage for the items that we need to cut, any big item like the library.
Yeah.
And then we'll see how much the residents want that if they vote it in. Right?
Exactly. So that the residents are going to need to make that decision, right? It's a big expense, and we've over the years we've outsourced and outsourced. There's really nothing left to outsource. This is the a non-essential service.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be unfortunate to have a city like ours without a library or access to a library. So we put it out to the voters, and the voters will make that decision one way or the other. So
when you now looking at this new position as the mayor, well, first of all, let me say, looking back on your last 9 years, what would you say have been your greatest accomplishments on city council, or what would you say have been the things that have meant the most to you that you've been able to do? That's an easy question. Okay.
I would say it's everything around infrastructure. So the past administrations have they've had an easy time in terms of balancing all their budgets and expenses because they weren't expending money on infrastructure.
Okay.
And so our infrastructure has been decaying, and so what I started doing was created an infrastructure committee, and that infrastructure committee has put in place a lot of improvements in the city. Place a road program. So we paved something like can't remember the exact number. It was about 7 miles worth of I think it was closer to 8 miles worth of roads. We made all sorts of infrastructure improvements with respect to the water and sewer system. Our water system, our water mains, are a large portion of them were almost 100 years old when they're designed for 50-year life. So we had a lot of water main breaks. So we've been replacing water mains. We've been replacing things like, not exciting stuff, but gate valves and manholes and cleaning the sewer lines. So all of this is going to help ensure that we don't have things like basement backups, that we have flowing water.
That's important.
Yeah, that's definitely important. We also had a sidewalk program for the first time in, I think it's like almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So all of our sidewalks, I mean, I know you're a walker, I'm a walker, constantly would trip and stub your toe and, and things like that. So we've improved the safety of the sidewalk system. And then the recent financial committee, I mean, even though the had the override failed, we did a lot of work and we put a lot of education out into the community, so at least people understand why we're having the issues that we have.
You really did. And I'll tell you, as I've mentioned before with other interviews, I go to a lot of the meetings, and I know if I need information, I can get it from you. You're one of the most informed and prepared people that I'm so glad that you're on council, and I'm so glad that you've remained. And now that you get this turn at mayor, I think that's really wonderful too. And I appreciate all the work that you do for us, Bruce. When you think about Lathrup, I mean, you just told me about some of the hardships we're facing, but what do you hope to do next?
Well, I think there's a lot of, in terms of, the first biggest priority is figuring out financials.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everything comes down to that. So we have to figure out how we're going to balance our budget and maintain services. But beyond that, I think there's a lot of great successes that we've had or are having or will have in the near future. In the last 8 years, we've got over $7 million in grants, with a lot of that coming in the last couple of years. So we've got a lot of projects coming up. We got a grant for $250,000 to help us redo Rainbow Circle, which is the worst road in the city.
Okay.
we just recently got we're 99% of the way there for a $400,000 grant to redo the playscape
Yes.
at City Hall. So not only will we have a new playscape that's, you know, current design, but it's also going to be ADA compliant and much more safe for the children that are playing on it. We got an $880,000 grant for a water main on El Dorado. I think a lot of people know we got $1 million grant for the water main from Lincoln to Southfield Road. Along Southfield. That's going to happen this spring. We did get a $2 million grant for the water main from 11 Mile to 12 Mile. But the legislature, there's some issues there. The Republicans did an end around and are trying to claw back $645 million in projects across the state. Our $2 million is included in that. But the good news is right now the Attorney General has declared what the Republicans did as unconstitutional. So the money is continuing to flow. We've already gotten about a quarter of that money.
Okay.
So, yeah, and then there's just a lot of other good things to look forward to. We got the Annie Lathrop School redevelopment. The developer has received all of the approvals from the city that he needs, and the only thing that he's working on right now is trying to get. He's got what do I want to call it, a small chunk, but he's got a chunk of financing that he still needs to get, and he's working with a state organization called MISHDA to try to get that. Once he gets that funding, then shovels are in the ground. So we're looking forward to that. And then a whole host of new businesses. Yesterday we had the grand opening for Holy Burger, Holbrook Auto Parts, massive auto supply store opened up on Southfield Road. Mara Green's the new golf place. You mentioned Big B a little bit earlier. Middle Eats.
Yes. So what's that?
Primal Life, which is prepackaged healthy meals. Rita's, and then the other big thing I think is the hawk signals. You know, in our last master plan, you know, one of the big issues was that was identified was people feeling like the quadrants were separated and there's no easy way to cross Southfield Road. Well, we now have 3 hawk signals, which are, if you don't know what that stands for, it basically it's a user activated signal that will cause the light to go right on the Southfield directions so that people can very easily cross the roads. We use it all the time. Yeah. It's great. There's no more playing Frogger.
I was just going to say that. Yeah. Because Southfield Road is like the Audubon and it's hard to get across. So I've used it and it's been terrific. Now, does HAWK actually stand for something? Is it an acronym?
It is. Okay. I think it's Human Activated Walk Device. I think.
Something.
I'm not sure what the H is, but yeah.
I wondered where they came up with that name, HAWK. So Bruce, I've been here a long time too. You've been here a long time. When you think about Lathrup Village, what is your favorite thing about the city? What do you love the most about being here? I
would say it's the people. We've got great neighbors. There's a ton of diversity. It's a great place to live. You know, there was a post on Facebook the other day about one of our neighbors who goes out of his way to help other neighbors who are sick, and that's more the rule than the exception. I was going to say but yeah, I mean, it's just we have good people, good neighbors. I love going. You know, I think I go door to door a lot just to hear what's on the neighbors' minds, and it's great conversations. Everybody's friendly. It's just a good place to live.
It really is. Yeah. I totally agree with you. And you are that old school politician, I guess, is that you
I would never refer to myself as a politician. I guess,
okay, government official, local official.
Yeah, I don't do politics.
Right, okay, I get that mixed up too. Yeah. But you are that old school official that actually goes door to door, meeting people. And I really admire that, and it gives people that chance to really get to know you and to give their issues, because not everybody goes to the meetings, and not everyone is on social media or even internet for some of our elderly. So you give them that opportunity.
Right. And you can't lead a city without knowing what's on people's minds.
Right.
And that leads actually right into another positive thing that I didn't mention earlier, which is, we have a new committee that we've just tasked, communications and engagement.
Okay.
And that's the volunteers who are going to staff that committee will be appointed at the meeting on Monday. But I'm excited about that committee because, one, I mean, you can always improve on your communications.
Sure.
And so one of the goals of that committee is to help the city figure out ways to improve communication. One of their tasks is going to be to finish our communication plan that we've been working on for the last couple of years and just haven't gotten around to finishing. But what I'm really excited about with that committee is the aspect of trying to figure out how to improve engagement, because you can have all the great communication out there, but if people don't actively seek out those communications, then there's no engagement.
Right.
And so that's really what we need is more engagement. The more engagement we have, the better decisions that we can make to lead the city and to create ordinances and so forth that meet the residents' needs. And again, sorry to take over, but
no, I love it.
And that leads right into our master plan.
Yeah.
Right. Because
you're right in the midst of that right now. What is it? Every 5 years?
Every 5 years.
Okay. Because I've been to a couple of those meetings too. It's fascinating. Yeah.
It's probably about a little less than a year project to come up with a new master plan. And the reason why the master plan is important is because it's our guiding beacon essentially in terms of zoning, planning, recreation. So that's really our guide. And so we want the guide to be reflective of the residents' needs. And the only way we're going to know that is if the residents participate. So one thing they can do is there's a meeting on February 17th.
Okay.
At City Hall, where they can provide input. There's going to be a lot more meetings. And the other thing that they can do is go out to the city website, and on the main page of the website, I don't remember exactly what it says, but something, it might just say master plan.
It's down on the bottom right-hand side. I just saw it.
Yeah. And when you click on that, it'll take you to an engagement survey where you can actually provide input that's
great.
We'll see, the planners will see, the planning commission will see, and then we can use that input along with all the input that we get at the meetings to, develop the most accurate master plan that we can.
Yeah, that's really thoughtful to get everyone involved.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Bruce. I'm so glad I had a chance to talk to you today, and you really explain things out for us in a way that everybody can understand it. And I'm really happy that you represent us on City Council and as our mayor.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate the opportunity to talk at any time.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.